Welcome to Talks with Dr. Gupta and friends. Today, we're attempting something ambitious. Reverse engineering the future by cutting through the noise of the past week. For most people, Davos triggers an immediate eye roll. Private jets, luxury optics, buzzwords drained of meaning. That imagery still exists. But strip away the lifestyle and pageantry, and something else emerges. When the buzzwords fall away, what's left is signal, a map of where the world is actually heading. And this year, that map looks radically different from even 12 months ago. The official theme was a spirit of dialogue. On the surface, it sounds soft, almost naive, like hanging a Keep Calm poster on a burning building. But that irony is the point, because we are living in an age of turbulence. The old rules of global cooperation aren't bending, they're breaking. And yet, leaders still line up at dawn, in freezing temperatures, just to talk. Not because they agree, but because they're terrified of what happens if they stop. The defining moment of the week came from one speech that absorbed all the oxygen in the room, the address by US President Donald Trump. Regardless of politics, the language matters. This wasn't a speech about tariffs alone. It was about geography, about Greenland, referred to dismissively as a piece of ice for world protection. Then came the proposition: say yes and we'll be appreciative. Say no and we'll remember. That phrase matters. It signals a fundamental shift from alliances built on shared values to relationships reduced to ledgers. Protection exchanged for land. Access exchanged for loyalty. Cooperation reframed as a transaction with penalties. This is raw power politics. Every interaction becomes win-lose. Not partnership, leverage. But the real insight only appears when you look at the counterpoint. Enter the philosophical counterweight. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney introduced the word that defined Davos 2026. Rupture. Workers of the world, unite. Play along to get along. Not transition, rupture. A transition suggests continuity, movement along a path. A rupture means the path itself has snapped. For decades, globalization rested on a belief. Economic integration guarantees peace. Shared supply chains would prevent conflict. That logic is now dead. Integration has become a weapon. If you control payment systems, data cables, chips, or critical minerals, interdependence becomes leverage. You don't need bombs. You can shut economies down remotely. For smaller nations, this is existential. They're being forced to choose sides in conflicts they didn't start and don't want. The global village is gone. So what replaces it? The answer emerging from the data is minilateralism. Forget 190-nation treaties. That era is over. The future belongs to small, trusted groups solving specific problems. Digital trade rules, critical minerals, AI safety, energy corridors. Functional beats perfect. The result is a patchwork world. Hundreds of overlapping agreements instead of one global rulebook. For businesses, it's a compliance nightmare. For governments, it's survival. And nowhere is this new logic clearer than in one of Davos's most futuristic ideas: digital embassies. Countries want AI sovereignty, but many lack the capital, energy, or infrastructure to build hyperscale data centers. So they export their data, not their authority. Server racks hosted abroad, legally treated as sovereign territory. Jurisdiction without geography, just like a physical embassy. Trust replaces territory. Alliances are redrawn not by borders, but by where data lives. Last year, AI was magic. This year, it's machinery. The phrase repeated across Davos was the year of execution. AI is leaving the screen and entering the physical world. World models now understand physics, not just language. Gravity, friction, breakage. When combined with robotics, automation escapes the lab and enters factories, streets, and supply chains. That power triggers a new anxiety: control. No country wants its critical infrastructure run by an AI hosted under someone else's laws. Hence, the race for sovereignty, regulation, and trusted compute. At the same time, Elon Musk offered a counterintuitive take. AI may compress inequality. When software creation drops to near zero cost, ideas matter more than credentials. But the warning followed quickly. We are in technological adolescence, wielding intelligence potentially smarter than us. Dual-use systems that can cure disease or design catastrophe. The race is clear. Can execution solve our problems before adolescence destroys us? None of this runs on code alone. It runs on power. We've entered the age of electricity. One medium data center now consumes the power of 100,000 homes. Electric vehicles are scaling globally. Air conditioning demand is exploding as temperatures rise. AI, EVs, and climate stress are hitting grids simultaneously, without matching generation capacity. Energy security is now national security. You cannot host digital sovereignty on an unstable grid. This logic is driving industrial clustering, grouping steel, chemicals, data, and compute, where clean, cheap power is guaranteed. And alongside energy, Davos shifted color, from green to blue. Water. The entire water cycle is now the focus. 1 million preventable deaths this year alone from unsafe water. But amid the crisis, innovation appeared. An aquapreneur using quantum chemistry and AI to remove pollutants. High technology solving the most basic human need. A reminder that rupture doesn't end innovation. It redirects it. Economically, the verdict was simple. Resilient, but uneven. The Global South faces a youth surge. 800 million entering the workforce without enough jobs. The Global North faces labor shortages and aging populations. The obvious solution, movement of people, collides with closed borders and political fear. Yet one sector thrives: experiences. People aren't buying more things, they're buying memories. Concerts, travel, live events. In a volatile world, we crave what feels real. Which brings us back to Davos itself, 6:30 a.m. Freezing. A concrete security line. CEOs, activists, and heads of state shuffling forward together. They endure the cold because isolation is worse. We began with rupture. But the deeper truth is entanglement. AI models need global data. Grids need cross-border power. Digital sovereignty lives on foreign servers. We are fighting, but inside the same web. Maybe the borders of 2026 aren't drawn by mountains and oceans anymore. Maybe they're drawn by fiber optic cables and electricity flows. That's the real question of this decade. Are you building bridges or preparing for rupture? That's it for this deep dive into Davos 2026. Stay safe, stay curious, and happy new thinking.